Hey everyone, welcome to 366 2020. We just crossed the 250 film mark. That's pretty good, right? Let's talk about three more. Big Eyes is the most un-Tim Burton-like Tim Burton film that's happened in a while. The movie is the story of Walter Keane, who for years passed off his wife's paintings as his own. In the film, Walter is played by Christoph Waltz, his wife is played by Amy Adams. And what made Margaret Keane's paintings stand out from the rest of the art world at the time was her depiction of children with big eyes, hence the name. Walter Keane, while being not much of a painter, was a master salesman, and that's why he was kind of the type A personality in this relationship. And Christoph Waltz is very good in this role, as is Amy Adams as his wife. But this is a biopic tried and true about their rise to superstardom and their eventual falling out. In that regards, it doesn't stray much from the formula, and that leads the film to be kind of forgettable. And Tim Burton here makes a very un-Tim Burton-y-like film. None of his hallmarks are here, save a few scenes. Even the score by Danny Elfman has dialed back a few notches. Amy Adams would win a Golden Globe for her role in this film, but I'm not in love with the movie as a whole. It was fine, the story is compelling, it's one of those hallmarks in art history which is interesting, but it just didn't wow me that much. Booksmart is the absolutely blistering directorial debut of Olivia Wilde. It stars Beanie Feldstein and Caitlin Dever as two high school overachievers. In an attempt to get into a better school than everybody else, these two have ostracized themselves from most of the kids at their school. But in this, the night before their high school graduation, they decide to become part of the group and have a lot of fun. And while saying that plot structure out loud seems very cliched, I can guarantee you the resulting film is anything but. This is a film that understands that it stands on the shoulders of giants. It name-checks Ferris Bueller's Day Off almost immediately while drawing comparisons to other films in the John Hughes catalog like Weird Science, The Breakfast Club, or 16 Candles, while also drawing a direct connection to newer films like Superbad or Mean Girls. But the film, while knowing where it came from and knowing what it's built from, almost immediately begins destroying those tropes. This is a film that knows that you know it's a cliche and it's going to do whatever it can to turn it on its head. The resulting film is a film that's as raunchy and as heartfelt as a film like Superbad, but eventually disagrees with Superbad's main conclusion. And the film's as good as it is because of the performances of its two lead actors, but also because of the laser-sharp focus of the direction from Olivia Wilde. There are decisions that Olivia made in this movie that are absolutely fearless. And every decision she made is in service of these characters. I'm thinking specifically of a scene at a party which ends in a long single-shot take, and other directors might have cut away from these two characters having an argument to show the reactions of the people around them. But Olivia Wilde keeps her camera focused on these characters. You see, as a viewer, what's happening in the background and you see people react to this fight. But the camera never blinks from the two main characters, which are the focus of this sequence. It's an astounding choice from a first-time director. There's also choices she made in this movie that embrace the film's flights of fancy, which invoke directors like Savage Steve Holland. But Olivia Wilde's direction is laser sharp and fearless, and the movie is better because of it. It's an outstanding directorial debut filled with fantastic performances and amazing writing. Everything about it is great. I loved this movie. Thoroughbreds is another film about high school senior girls, but this one with a drastically different tone. These two girls were friends when they were younger, but they grew apart. Lily, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, grew up in a high-class household, and Amanda, played by Olivia Cooke, not so much. These girls are drastically different, with Amanda having some mental issues that lead her to not feel any sort of emotion, while Lily feels everything. And because of their emotional predispositions, they make a good team when they start plotting to kill Lily's stepfather. This is a relatively cold and off-putting movie. It's shot in a cold and off-putting way, but it has some really compelling sequences. The performances from Taylor-Joy and Cook are both very well done. They have good chemistry together. They have good conversations. It's always compelling to watch. But I don't know if the movie necessarily stuck the landing for me. A movie like this is all dependent on its third act, and it was fine. I wish the third act of this film was a little stronger. Of course, this movie is notable for being the final theatrically released film starring Anton Yelchin. He's so good this movie, it makes me so angry. Just an absolutely heartbreaking, needless death, and you can tell in this film that he was a strong actor that was only getting stronger over time, taken before he could really make a huge splash. But overall, an entertaining, if not world-changing film. And that is it for this episode. Have you seen any of these movies? I will see you in comments and see you on the next episode of 366 2020. Thanks for watching.